All right, I'm just going to assume we're on. Hey, look at this. We're outside. Outside today. Lorraine had taught me this morning that en plein air. Look it up, she said. Look it up. En plein air means why don't you go outside and paint? So I says, what a great idea. I thought it was going to be warmer than this, but I wanted to show you our backyard. How easily you could transform this little scenery into a beautiful waterfall. All right. So the colors we're going to need today are just basically all of them. Okay. So let's get that going already. Now I want to just point out a couple of things first. It's starting to rain out, so I hope we'll be okay. I'm glad you didn't come outside, but as the weather gets better, we'll probably do more and more outside. So, all right. So, couple of first things we're gonna do is, I think it's right around here. I made a mark, which would be the top of the. We're gonna look further around. Okay, look at the background as though it's our reference. Okay, so we want to paint this, but we want to paint this and turn it into a waterfall. So what we're going to do is just start to block things out. Now, of course, you wouldn't have all these trees in the waterfall unless you want to zigzag it through there. Then you could do something like that. But if you want to, we're going to start. I like to start from the top. So let's start to just block this in before we attack the entire painting. Let's kind of block it in so we have an idea of where we're going, what goes where, and how we're going to approach this. So let's take out just a little bit of brown, and I just have any kind of a brush because we're going to use this basically as a pencil for right now. I hope you guys can hear me. And thanks for following along with me. I'm having, for an hour a day, I enjoy this very much, and I hope you do too. Just try to break up a little bit of the let's stay in the house stuff, so we can at least go outside. So let's take a look at the top of the hill. Okay, so here let's talk about, we talked about eye level. Okay, so this is going to be basically our eye level. I'm thinking like maybe right in and around here or here, right? So we'll say like the top of the platform where the swing goes. Okay, where the swings are. So we're going to turn that into our horizon line, our horizon line. So this is going to be our eye level. So if you want to, you could just do a little bit of a line like that, just something to guide you, as that's going to be our eye level, okay? So we want to show that everything above this now is going to be higher, and everything below this is going to be lower. So if we come in, now see what I did? I didn't make a mess of this for nothing. But you see how I got the, let's see, how is this? Okay, see how I have, I don't know if you can see this. I have the top one, the top rag is rolling over. It's rolling over those down as though it's splashing. I'm trying to give you a visual of how the water would fall down. And then as it comes down flat to the bottom, it flattens out. And then you use these rocks here as your guide. And we'll get into that, but I just want to give you an idea of how we block, how I usually block this in first. So, unless I'm drawing some, if it's very detailed, if it's a portrait, I'll have to draw it out first, which is kind of painstaking. It takes a few days for me to do that now, and a few more days to paint it. About 2 weeks, 3 weeks to do a portrait now. So let's see. We're going to come right up in here. We're going to start. Now remember, we want to have just a little bit of sky. Sure, I want to show some sky, but I want it to be very, very high to show that we're down low. Okay, because if you can see this, we're kind of like in a basin. So the trees that are above here, okay, before you can actually see any of, if any of these sky, maybe over here a little bit, there's some sky you can see, but you can see how high that is, and I think it's like the thicket trees on the hill are massive. They're like 80 feet tall, but they look dwarfed up on that hill, but that hill is like that, so steep, so steep. So what we want to do now, let's see, we're going to come in here, so we know that this is going to be the sky up here. So I'm going to go right over here. Now if you can see this one way over here, the biggest rock over here, and the highest one somewhere up here. And yeah, you can see that shape how it comes down at the like 8 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Okay, so you do that angle there just like that too. All right. So all we want to do just like that. So you know that that's going to be the rock itself. Then you come down. You know that it's going to come down. Then there's another rock in front of there. Now remember, we're always thinking about our waterfall coming down. So you want to balance that. You don't want to put the waterfall right in the middle of the painting. You never want to put anything in the middle of the painting. Okay, what you want to do is you want to come over here and just bring it over to the side. Either side doesn't matter. I should be off to the side. So either side doesn't matter. So what you want to do is come right in here and just start building the rocks. Okay, so I'm going to say that this is going to be the top of the rock that our waterfall is going to fall down through. Okay? And again, I'm just using brown a little bit. I'm not scooping it. Never scoop it. No reason to. And you just want to, you know, so you start making, these are big, big rocks now. See, because those are very massive. We got photographs of all our grandkids up on that rock way up there in the corner. And they just sit right along there on Easter. It's a nice picture. See, so what you want to do now, you just want to keep building. Just keep building these rocks, okay? And don't worry about separating them with color or anything like that, because that'll all come in later. If you see all the rocks up there, of course, they're all different colors as well. No problem. So what you want to do is just keep continuing. Now this is going to be all one. You know that that's that shining spot way up there in the top. We're not even concerned that that's going to stay like that. We just want to give ourselves a guide. Okay, so this is all of that part of the rock, and if you see underneath there, it kind of goes back like that too. It has a triangular area. Has like a triangular area there. Then it gets darker as it comes down here. It gets all dark underneath there, right? But then we'll block that all in, right? So I just want to show you that and how we'll start to separate the rocks. It's starting to rain out, so I don't know if you want to run back in now, bring all your stuff. I was almost going to do it myself, but I got the umbrella. And see what I want to do now? I want to leave an area. It's not quite in the middle, and I can always push this rock over, which maybe it should be. But yeah, I'm going to bring it in just like this, and that's where my rock is going to come in there. That's not a mistake, and it's not ruined. Don't worry about this. I'm sorry, I should talk to you about my canvas for a second. My canvas is it's 24 inches across, so that makes it like 2 feet, right? And this way, I think it's 36, almost 3 feet. So, and it's a stretch canvas, kind of drummy if you can hear that. Oh, yeah. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, careful. And look at that. Luckily, no paint fell on my head. Okay, so what we'll do now is just work our way down. Now, this is going to be our eye level. So, you don't want to make an eye, it's not a line all the time. Okay, we say that's where it is, but we can also bring some of these rocks down like this. All right? So, we're going to start to just build that side like this. Don't worry about down here on the eye level side. Let's go to the other side and start building some of the rocks. Now remember, I pushed this over just a little bit like this. This will be all filled in with green and stuff like that. So pull all your colors out because we'll be using that as well. So let's say I push that over. I'm going to use this line now. And I can lower this a little bit because I don't want to make it bookends. Right, you don't want to have bookends. So let me just actually raise this one a little bit higher to actually show how tall that is. Okay. And I'll show you how we're going to separate all these rocks and everything. Don't worry about that. But leave these lines exposed like that because you're going to need them. Okay. So what I want to do now, I push this over. I have the rock here. Let's put a rock right in the middle of our waterfall. And we're going to push this over. And have just a little part of the water coming down, okay? So this is going to be, actually here, we'll make that like a nice sizable rock, and we're going to bring that up. Now remember, this is above your eye level, so whatever we're doing up here makes it look massive and nice and high, okay? So let's bring this way up here. And I love working big, and I leave it as high as I can on my easel to get the feel of the height as well as while I'm painting it. And I'm just gonna start. So I just kind of like folded that over, make another rock there, and it's real shaky. You know, you don't want to make a rock like this. It doesn't work that way. You know, rocks are all different forms. They're hard, and we can show that later. But right now, we just want to show layers and layers of rocks, like right down in here. This is all beautiful stuff right in there, which I built, by the way. Now, see what I did? I'm bringing this right down to our eye level. And we're going to bring that down even lower because this is where our waterfall is going to be falling through. We're going to raise right like that. This is going to be where our waterfall falls, okay? So we want that just a little bit higher than our eye level. And we're going to bring it right down here. And it's going to come down to, and everything below this is going to now form into the flowing rocks and all that stuff. Okay. So let's see, what do we have now? Now we want to build this down, so we're going to bring this back in. And it doesn't matter how you make your rocks. Don't try to follow what I'm doing. I'm going random myself. So I'm just kind of filling in. Maybe there is a couple of those little small ones in there like that. You can do a couple of those. See how I start building it, make it look like blocks of stone, like right down in here. So I'm going to come down. But now you want to be careful because we want to show that this is going to be, we want to show more water than the sky. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, right about here, about your halfway point of your painting, okay? Halfway through your canvas is what I'm trying to say. We're going to make a line that cuts off like that. Okay, and then we're going to come down, we're going to bring a line that comes down like this, and we're going to cut it like this, but don't go all the way to the edge yet. Stop it right there for a moment, and I want to explain why, okay? When you want to make something look like it's flat and going back, you have to kind of like squish things, okay? So let me see, like, we'll say like with a circle. Perfect. Okay. When you're doing a circle, your circle, well, actually I could just use the whole plate. Your plate is a circle, but as you, just imagine as you tip that glass back, look at it as a glass like that, okay? So as you, I'm going to come closer so you can see what I'm saying. So as you have that glass, you're getting that oval shape like this. Okay, so what we're going to do in here is in order to get that flat look like that, you want to come across like this. So think of it, let me see. When I explain, people do like this, and you don't want to paint the corner like this. You never want to paint the corner like this. What you want to do is take that C and turn it into a V. Okay, so when you squish it down, oh, I'm running out of paint. I got plenty. When you squish it down, look at this. Okay, now we're going to fix this side, but I wanted to leave that like that to show you. Okay, now this, watch what happens here. And we go right off the canvas like this. But already, doesn't that look like a grassy area that we could sit down, right? Watch the waterfall right there. And we could. We'll put all those grasses in there. I don't know what size canvas you got, but I just happen to have this big one. And because I like them. So that's what I'm using. But see the difference? See the difference when you squish it down like that? It makes it, it gives you that perspective, like it's laying down more walkable, that more inviting to walk through instead of having to climb up. Okay, that doesn't look like a corner, but that does. Okay. So what we'll do now is we want to bring this back in. Now this is going to be all water, but you don't want to be standing in the water in your painting when you're looking at it. So let's bring this across. Look at this, right across the bottom like this. Okay, now remember, this is going to be all water in here. Okay, and see how we're blocking it in, and we're basically getting all the shape of what we want right there. Now we could, of course, we can have some of these big trees in there, which we will, because you don't want to have just that rock wall right in front of you with the waterfall. You want more to look at, you know, like you're looking over here. Or the depth. The more depth you could put in there, the better your painting is. And remember, we're always starting, where do we start from? The sky, that's right, the sky. Because you always want to start from the furthest point back to you. So it's a, thought I saw my breath. It is kind of chilly out here. Coming to you live from Ware, New Hampshire, by the way, on this beautiful spring day. Just in a couple more weeks, we'll be swimming. Boom, 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 boom. All right. You know, I don't really like this little knob in the middle. I'm sure other people don't either. So you know what? I'm gonna extend this. Oh, what will I do? What will I do? Before I do something, actually, you know something? I'm gonna put it in front of this one. There we go. So this is behind there, and this one's gonna be in front. It'll make the water break off. Okay, now very important. I want to show you just a couple things here when we do our waterfall. A long way off from it. But what we're going to do is we're just going to come in. When we do our waterfall, we're going to take a little bit of paint on that top. And this is the most fun part of this whole thing because the waterfall is the focal point. And what we're going to do is we're going to go across like that, and then we're just going to pull it down. And look at that. See how, I don't know if you can see how that breaks, but I'll do it big so you can see it. Okay, so if this comes across like this, and make those sounds, it does help. It really does help. But see how when you flip it down like that? See, now you can imagine the water coming across there, and then watch it as it's gonna come. Maybe it'll come across this way and then meet this way. And then we'll have to show where it comes into the middle and falls right in there like this. So this would be pretty cool too. But all these lines are going to be vertical. Okay, I just want to throw in a few so that you understand and see what's happening. And it's going to make this painting a whole lot more fun. Okay, you'll get excited about it too. Now this waterfall is going to come down, but it looks like it may be too long. Okay, but we can always shorten that. Now how can we shorten that? Easy. By throwing more rocks in there and then pushing our bottom back, okay? And then we could just throw more rocks in front of there. Don't do that right now, it's not important, because we have to paint everything behind there first. Let's see. So let's see, yeah. So we have, now look above and beyond there now, okay? And what do we have? We have, I want to show a little bit of sky, remember, right? A little bit of sky. So we're going to come in here. And look what I'm doing. I'm only taking my brush and I'm scratching. Just scratching up and down, okay? Like you're scratching at the skeeters that'll be coming out soon, I'm sure. Okay? And I'm not concerned. I know we're supposed to be doing the sky right now, but because we're doing the brown, we have an idea what's going on anyways. And when we start throwing in some of these thicker trees like that, you'll see a difference how it all starts to come together and really take shape. All right, so see what I'm doing? I'm just very lightly. I'm not trying to make a tree, and I'm not going straight across. I'm not making a fence, but I'm keeping some of them long, some of them short, and see how some, maybe a little bit of the paint will fade away. Let it fade away, right? Whatever's doing, let it do. And you don't even go down to the bottom in here yet. Okay, all we want to do is just establish where we are. And now see, I'm thinking maybe I'm going to have my sky come all the way up to here. I don't want the whole thing sky because this is too flat as it is. We got to bring that out. But I don't want another flat plane behind there, behind the trees, flat, flat, flat. So I'm going to bring this tree line. I'm going to bring this tree line up like this and start to break it away, so that that's all you see is just that little bit of sky. Okay, so stay out of there now. Okay. Don't worry about any of that. And when we go back and paint this, we'll be doing that before we leave today anyways. But we'll have this little bit of sky we'll probably throw in because this is where we are going to start, of course, from the back forward, as we always do. So, let's see. I like that. And let's see, what else is back there now? See, we get those big, taller trees. And I don't know, I'm using a number, maybe you want to grab, by next week, if you're gonna follow me at all. I know we talked about the brushes, but they have different sizes. It goes from a number 12 down to a number 1. And I better get to Michael's before they close too. So Okay, what are we going to do now? Okay, so what I want to do is just throw some of these heavier trees in. So like I said, this is number 9. Okay, so but for the size canvas, I'm not suggesting that you use a number 9. But if you have, if you even have a number 9 and you want to get it thinner, let me show you this one. Right, so this is the size of this brush, basically. Okay, and this is going to be a tree that's way, way in the background. I'm not going to bring it all the way down because these trees are beyond there, and this is mixed in with it. So we don't want to make that tree, that tree, that tree, that tree. We want to make that tree, but we don't want it to all end up in a road to make it look, again, like a fence. You don't want that. So what you want to do is just bring this and let it fade away like that. Don't worry about the rough edges. It's a tree. It's a tree, right? Now watch what happens here. We used the brush this way, right? We used it on the fat side. Remember we talked about using it on the fat side? Right, let me bring it over here. Talked about using it on the fat side and the skinny side, okay? So when you use it on the fat side, you're going to get that. When you use it on the skinny side, ooh, watch this. Ah, well, I could get like a pen, okay? But careful, I'm a professional. Okay, so what you want to come right up in here. And remember, they're not all, yes, they're all pretty much straight up and down. But give some of them a little bit of character, you know? Let one right off like there. Let it run right off. There's another one there. See, what we're doing, we just, little by little, we're looking for a woodsy look. And you want to just add a little bit more, add a little bit more. And easily already you can see that we're at a place already. Okay, so let's come over here and fix this, because I'm sure, all right. I hear you. Okay, so what do we want to do now? Remember, squish that down, okay? So let's cut this in. Actually, let's cut this in so that it opens up bigger, so we get more water. I'd like to sit here, and we may even push this down too and have less ground over here and more water. And maybe even a tree right here or over here. I'm thinking right over here already. But it's going to be a big one, so it's going to be like boom. All right, so yeah, let's come over here, take a little bit. Now turn your brush. I don't know what size brush you're using. If you're using something sizable, you don't want that, you know, that fat part. Use it on the skinny part. So what I'm going to do is come right in here, and if you could see, I'm going to come in here and cut it in like we did on that side. I'm going to cut it in like that on that side, and then I'm going to cut it right back out. And see what I'm doing? I'm squishing that and making more of a V. Okay, and then I can bring that back again. Okay, and now look up, right? It went from that much water to this much water. And then we could have our rocks right down to here. Now you could just fill this in. This doesn't have to be flat like this, of course. We're going to fill this in with the waterfall, and then we'll fill that in. So all you want to do is just establish a couple of places where you want to have your rocks, things like that. Okay, come over here. No reason you can't throw a couple trees up here. But I'm going to hold off on that because I still got to put my sky in. So don't, you know, if you didn't do this yet, I hope. Don't yet. So I'm going to throw a couple more trees. I want to make some of them. See, remember, just like we did with our other trees, when we poke those leaves on there, it's going to fill in all these areas. So we know that there's going to be trees there, and we need those trees there to hold up all that stuff that ain't there yet, but it's coming. Or if you saw my picture on the Facebook thing, that's the summertime picture of it. It's beautiful back here. Oh, I put some bird seed out there, hoping to make it look more like nature. If the birds come, I don't know. So yeah, so I'm just going to throw a couple in here. Don't even worry about the little branches and stuff like that. I know there's a whole bunch of them. Don't even worry about it yet, because we're gonna, if you get a chance, you know, maybe if you, like I said, if you're gonna follow, get a couple of decent, not expensive, but just get some real small ones that you could do some lines, you know, thin lines with, and things that you could just color with. All right, so different sizes, a couple different size brushes. You get those at Michael's for like $7. So you see, I'm just going to be throwing some trees in here, and I am. We're going to be doing all kinds of branches and stuff in there like that. But I'm not even going to be concerned about that, because before we do these trees, remember, we have to put the greens in there. We're not just going to use green. We're going to use green and what? Well, depend. Well, good. Yeah, I guess so. You could use the green and yellow. You could use green and red and get like a real darker color. What else could you use? Well, any kind of green, lighter greens. But what we want to do is just look for like a camouflage look is what we're going to do. I don't know why I put my brush in the water like I was going to continue to talk for a while. We're here for a reason. Oh, what did I do with my rag? Oh, excuse me, I'll be right back. All right, so you understand that? See, before I pull that apart, I just wanted to show you how the water might look when it's fallen over the rocks, and when it comes out, it's going to start to. Yeah, I'll even show you here. So after the water hits, it's going to all splash up here, right? This is going to be all splash up in here. Then as we come down, this will be all upset. But then as it comes down here, it's going to start to relax. And see what I'm doing? 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock is what gives you that. I'm going to put those in now so that it gives you that feel like you're going back in there, okay? So let's see. And again, now see what I'm going to do. As I'm going to go, I'm going to use the small side, thin side of my brush. I haven't even changed the brush yet, by the way. Because all I'm doing is just drawing it now, just blocking things in. And this is a great big painting, so this will take a little while. I may do it quick for your purpose, and you know, and then kind of tweak it later. So I just want to show you how the 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and these are going to be changed with different colors too. These, so you don't want to do this. You want to have some movement in the water, and then you have just a couple out here. But see, when you leave them flat, like that, let me see what you're looking at. Oh yeah, okay, see? Maybe I'll make them a little darker so you can see it. Yeah, there you go. You can see that better. All right, now see you're getting I can see a nice composition there. That looks good. I'm sure yours does too. Let's see. Well, I promised you some color, so I hope the brown is dry up there. Only one way to find out. I'm going to wash my brush now, and I'm going to go with the dark blue. If you know whatever color you, whatever sky you like, you want a darker sky, a lighter sky, use what you want. I'm going to put my brown aside and use a different plate now, because that's what I do. I use a lot of them. All right, so now again, right? I'm only using this much for the. I'm not even concerned about the water right now because this is not the watercolor. It'll be in there, but it's not the same color. So what we want to do is just take a little bit of this white now. I hope everybody's enjoying. I hope everybody made their bed today. Hope everybody made their bed. And this would be a good time for Mom to either take out the trash, you know, keep that house clean, and things like that. All right, so what do? Excuse me, 1 second. All right, so what we want to do is take just a little bit. I'm only going to go a little bit to see how dark that blue is, right? That blue is so dark. I'm going to use it, but I'm going to start where? No, not up on top. I want it to be darker down the bottom because I want it to get lighter on top. So I want the sun to be higher up here and getting darker down there. All right, so we're just going to take a little bit of the blue. See, I'm not scooping it. Never scoop it. See how much I took? Barely nothing. So careful on that. And what I want to do is I want to come up and I'm going to tuck it in between the brown. And I can see that the brown is still dry, still wet. And I hate to do this. I hate that. My clothes I don't mind. It's my hands I don't like. All right, so I'm going to stay away from that for a little while. I'm going to go up here where there's no paint, but I don't want to use a lot, and I don't want to bring it way up top. Why? That's right, because I want it lighter up top. Good. So now, you know, I dipped twice. I think I'm going to take some paint off because I could see I got a bunch on there. See, if you just kind of scummel it and put it in there. Wait a minute. You know what we're doing? We're doing this guy wrong. I'm sorry. Watch what we do now. Take some white while you have that blue on there. Let's just go ahead. We'll make it simple and just have the same streak sky. Don't worry if you cover your trees either. Okay, I'll show you why. I apologize. That was my mistake. I don't know why I was singling it and doing the sky piecework. Okay, so what you want to do now is go right along. And see, leave these, I don't know if you can see it that far back, but leave those darker areas in there if you can. Okay, so when you go in for your paint, just take a little bit of blue and then a good amount of white. Not a scoop, but a good amount. And look at that. And if it turns out that it's too blue, grab some white, like right in here. I know I'm going to have to soften that up. So look at that, and just soften the whole thing up. Okay? And see the motion that I'm doing is kind of just like a windswept sky. You can go straight across if you want to, but what I'm doing, I always like to have just a little movement in the sky. You know, daily movement is good. And I'm just going to fill in this corner. And see what's happening now. That sky. Oh, look! I don't know what happened there, but it's kind of like a wrinkle in my canvas. Maybe it's old like me. See what I'm doing? I'm doing these long strokes, And if you don't like those streaks in there, you could throw a little bit of blue down in here. Oh, look at this! And don't worry about those trees. We'll always get those back. We know they're behind there. We can pull them back out. Don't worry. And for the most part, you may be able to see them too. So, and just blend this in. And you want to work kind of fast with this because the acrylics, they'll dry quicker, and even quicker outside if you're outside in the summertime. They turn like gummy. Not really fun. All right, so see, I just want to, this is going too high for me. I think I want to relax this and come across more kind of like 10 minutes of 3, I guess. You know? That's what I want to do right there. That looks better. Yeah. This way here, the sky was looking like it was reaching way up also. Too high, actually. So, yeah, see, so I'm just going to relax this. I'm going to go more 2/4 I like that better. 2/4 looks better. And see, I'm only going to go right up until here. That's all I'm concerned about because that's where our tree line ends up stopping. Oh, look at that. The brown was, oh no, I thought it was wet. Okay. See, and while the paint is still wet, you can always blend it right in nice and easy. And if you can see those lines, don't worry about it. Remember, those are our trees, so we can go right over that after the sky dries. Leave it alone. Okay. So I'm just going to fill this a little bit in. I don't know how much sky you have or how much time you need, but I'm going to give you a little time to, if you feel you need to catch up. I want to make sure that you guys can. Like I said, I used a big canvas, so I'm only going to be rushing things. I don't want to rush it, but I mean, I'm going to go ahead with it, and I'll probably work on it later. But I want to make sure that you guys, like I said, I'm just giving you the basics of how to be somewhere, how to paint somewhere. Okay, and with the times being as they are, that's a good time to imagine being in nice places. So, oh, I wanted to go and get the rag. Alrighty then. So clean your rag after you're done with the sky. And what colors are we going to go into next then? Any idea? And even, oh, excuse me, even if you wanted to, I said just 1 minute ago, hold on. If you want to put a cloud in the sky, this has to dry first, okay? You can't put a nice puffy cloud on there and have it work out right now. It's got to dry first, and I'll show you how we blend that right back into the sky too. So I don't know if hope there's no glare on there. Hope it looks all right to you guys. Yeah, that's how I get. I think so. All right. So let's take out some. What color next? That's right, the green. Now remember, our sky is still wet. The sky is still wet, so you want to stay away from there. I want to show you something also. I always say that you could use the same colors that are on the plate in the painting, and the blue and the green are a perfect example, okay, for what we want to do next, because blue is a darker color anyways, and the green is kind of a darker color. Remember, it's a shamrock green, remember, right? I get that at Michael's, shamrock green. I like it better because the holiday green or the grass green, I don't know, it's kind of like too much kindergarten look. So I like the shamrock green. You can turn that into a kind of like an earthier tone. You can use some browns with it, stuff like that, but we won't get into that. That's private lessons. All right, so what we want to do now is let's start with the green. Okay, did everybody take the green out? I'll give you a minute. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Take a minute. It's a nice day. Okay, everybody ready? I know I am. Okay, so now same thing, right? We have our trees already established up in the corner, and we know the brown trees. We know that those are thick, heavy trees. Now what we want to do is we want to get this look back, okay? But until the sky dries, can't do nothing. So let's come up in this area. Take just a little bit. Never again, never scoop it, never scoop it. So what you want to do is now we're going to use it more like a crayon, okay? And we're just going to kind of like smush it in, okay? And then watch what we do here. And don't even worry that you can see the brush strokes or the lines like that. Don't worry about that. So what you want to do now is then you'll go into a little bit of the blue, again, little. And because it's got the green on there, it's going to change color automatically. It's going to go darker. So what you want to do now is the light's coming in from this side now, right? So the light is coming in from here, well, at least from here. So what we want to do now is this is going to be all darker down here. Why? Because it's the furthest from the light, okay? So all in this area here is going to be dark. Everything on this side is going to be in the shadow. Everything on this side is going to be in the light, okay? So this is going to be a pretty dramatic painting. So I hope you follow along. I hope I'm not going too fast. Let's take a little bit of that blue that has the green on the dirty brush already, and let's come down here where it is going to be dark. Ooh, look at that. And again, just scratch it in. And what I want you to do, I want you to go right on top of your rocks, okay? Those lines that you made for your rocks, don't save them, because we know they're there. And we could see them for the most part underneath there anyways, okay? And just kind of like scratch that. If it gets too blue, add some more green, okay? We want it on the green tones, not the blues, okay? I hope everybody's following along with this one, and we're going to take the weekend off. I'll catch up Monday. We'll come back, and we'll continue this. Hopefully it's a nice day. Oh, it's going to get colder. Well, maybe I'll be in the, we'll have to work from the studio. All right, so see what I'm going to do now. All this area has to be done with the blue and the green. Okay, so let's go in here and just scummel it in there, okay? Take some blue, take some green, and just put that in there like that. Okay, now what this is, if you look further, what's brown, and you know, like when you're looking at thick trees like that, this is all the stuff that's way in the background. And this is going to be a summertime painting, I guess. It could be a beautiful fall painting. But see how we turn the backyard into a beautiful waterfall. See, and all I want to do is just scummel this in. Just fill this whole area in. I wonder what time it is. Lorraine's working remotely from home again today, so we're doing en plein air. I guess that's French. Oh, right there. Maybe I should be wearing one of those hats. See, and I'm just going to fill all this in. We can make this darker and lighter as we need, but all we're looking for is to get rid of the white canvas. We don't want to see any of that white canvas. Stay away from your sky. I'm sure it's still wet. And if it isn't, then go right up to it, and then you can feel your trees. And I don't want to touch the blue with it because I'm not working on that yet. Okay? And just take a little of that blue, a little of that green, and this is going to be just the background color. Okay, so that's all we're looking for, is to just color that in. Don't worry, make it all messy. It doesn't matter. All we want to do is get rid of the white canvas. So. Oh, this is going to be really, really nice. A little green, a little blue. And see, I'm trying to stretch this out as far as I can. So, just keep stretching it out, because this doesn't have to be heavy, heavy paint. You don't want puddles of paint. You want it to dry, because remember, layer on layer. That's right. Layer on layer. Takes a little patience. Of course, you know, like I said, I could be using a bigger brush, I suppose. But then I don't get that full canvas. I don't get that full camouflage effect that I like to get. And what's my brush anyways? Well, to finish this painting with you, of course, yeah, but. So, okay, you see how that's already given, well, you'll see it in a moment. Okay. So I don't, see how I don't like that solid line up there. A tree would not just be like that. Okay, so I'm going to throw a little bit more green in here, and I'll show you what I'm going to do, how to fix that. Because there's never a mistake. Okay. Let me see. Probably a little more because I'm a professional. I could use a little bit more paint. Okay, and I'm going to, now the blue is fine. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit more of the green, and see what I say? Okay, let me just, I'm going to clean my brush off with this. Take a little bit more blue just to fill this area. I want to fill this area right in. And now watch what I do now. Okay, if you hadn't done your trees, oh, here comes the lovely Lorraine. How are you?
Good.
Well, just painting out in the backyard on plein air like you suggested.
Nice.
So,
certainly made my life easier today, working from home.
Did it? Yeah? Working outside, playing outside.
Nice.
Yeah, come on over here. If you take a look from over here, you won't see any
Where?
of the glare. Well, take a look right from here. See? And now you don't even see the glare. Then people get to see you too.
Oh, hi.
So, this is Lorraine, everybody.
Okay, well,
So,
enjoy.
hey, could you let me know what time it is? I have no clue.
It's like 10 after or something like
Okay.
that. Yep.
So we got about 20 minutes, guys.
Have
So
fun painting with Pascucci.
Hey! Outside.
Outside.
Okay. So let's take some of that green. Now just go into the green by itself. But what I want you to do, remember we talked about, I love you too. Remember we talked about how we put our brush to the side. Okay. And watch what I do here. We're gonna come right up in here. See now, because my sky is still wet, I have to put it on a little bit thicker. That's only because I'm a professional. I'm gonna do wet on wet technique. Okay, but actually I wanted to fix this because I didn't like that straight line. So let me show you how I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take this brush. How would I do this now? If we want to have the trees coming in from the side, remember, right? If we want to have them come in like this, how do we do that? 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Very good. 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, right? So almost like this where I had, no, not 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock. It would be 10 o'clock, 4 o'clock. You fooled me. And I went along with it. Okay. So, see it? I'm going to make this bigger so you can see it because I know you're way back there. But I want to make this just a little bit bigger. And we talked about how we break up this. You don't want to have that hard line because no tree looks like that. It looks like a cliff, right? So, how do we do that? I'm going to go back into the blue just to change it up too. Right, so there's shadow and shade on there. And look, remember how we break this up? We could even bring that right over. Oh my gosh, look at this. Because remember, it's not way, 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 way up there. We're bringing this a little bit closer. So we can. And don't worry about this. This just gets filled in as though it's part of these trees. Okay? Now see, I'm going to just bring this down a little bit further. And I'm sure if your painting looks like mine, you're well on your way to the backyard. And look at that. Already we fixed that. Okay? I don't like that. But see, all this stuff is going to be changed too. This is not just, this is called the underpainting. Okay? So now I'm going to come up here. And now I'm going to turn my brush on the side, and I want to scratch in just like we did before. Now I'll be able to go right over. I'm going to use a little bit more blue because it needs to be a little darker. Because the green on top of the blue doesn't really show as much. But if I throw a little bit of that green in with the blue, as we got over here, it looks like it just pops a little better. Let's see. Yeah, so I'll throw a little bit of that blue in with the green and watch it pop now. Oh, look at this. Yes, 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 yes. Look at that. You see, you want to do the same thing. You want to stagger those up and down like a hot shot, okay? So here it goes up. Let's bring it way up here. Beep, 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 beep. And then we'll turn these into better looking trees too. These are just the tips of what we want to use of like the pine trees. Okay, so let's see. Remember, you want to stagger the sides of them. Use a little bit more green, a little bit more blue. Change it up, but remember, these are going to be. These are not our finished trees. Okay, so. And I'm just filling this in. Remember, these are our tree lines to the rocks. Okay, so this is all I'm filling in right here. I hope you guys can see everything okay. See, and I'm just scumbling it in just to fill it in. The range is about 10 past 1. And look at that, already we have a skyline with oh, the airplanes are still flying. Oh, that's a good sign. All I'm doing is just cleaning my brush off. Like I said, we just clean our brush off. Painting is nothing but cleaning your brush off where you want to put it. Right? Now we could see, I don't know if you could see, but I could see like the remnants of the other trees that were here. So I want to, I'm going to turn it on the side so I get that thin line. I'm just going to make my thin line first, and now that gives me a guide, okay? And you can follow along, all right, like this. And remember, don't make another one next to it, next to it, next to it. You're making a fence. Don't make a fence. You want to make trees, right? So let's see. How's that? That was good enough for me. And this I see kind of messed up here, but that's good too. Don't worry about that. Everything's fine. So what we want to do now is come in. Now we're going to turn our brush on the side, and we're going to poke it. Okay, for the most part today, we stroked it. Now we're going to poke it for a moment. All right, so we're going to come in here and turn our brush sideways. And when you remember when we did our trees the other day, we'll come in and we blop it because that's what you want right there, right? You want to have that right there. Okay, that open. That's what you're using is the fingertips. Okay, like the tips of the bristles is what you're using. And then you're going to just come in here. Now think about a pine tree. Or look at a pine tree. It's right there. And it starts off thin at the top. And look at that. See, against the sky, that pops right out. See, I'm going to take a little bit more on the other side. I'm going to take a little bit. I'm just taking the same green and blue, and I'm going to come over here. Now see how this, again, I don't like that. I want to stagger that a little bit more and let it come down. These could be all different trees. This is just what's in the background right now. Okay, we just want to rough this up. And let's see, up here, let's have a beautiful pine tree way, way up here, majestically up on a hill. Dun, dun, dun. So I'm going to start off little strokes. See, and I got my brush sideways. And I'm going to start off just little pokes, little pokes, little pokes. And then I'm just going to go a little bit wider as I come down. And look at that. Come on. There's a tree. Come on. Look at that. Right? And look how awesome that looks against the skyline. Now this almost, I don't know, it looks stupid. So I'm not going to leave that there. I'm going to make this bigger. And against the sky, it's okay, it'll look fine. Because that one looks great. So why don't we do it over here? Remember, I'm just using either blue and green. So we're going to come back on top of this and make, this is not the finished tree. These are just shadows of leaves and pine needles and things like that that's on a tree right now. So, and just let that fade right back in. Oh my gosh, look at this, right? Incredible. How do I do it? Okay, let's see. And I'm just gonna throw in some shadows back here, back there. And let's see, this should be dry, but I'm not gonna play with that just yet. But you know what we could do? While we have that same blue, let's go in here. And like I said, we could always hide it with something else. So let's think about maybe there's, now just take a little bit of just the blue, and where you have, if you have one of these tree trunks in there, and you want to break it off, look at this. Oh, look at that, right in there. Right, and there's going to be tons of greens on here, so maybe this will be gone, maybe it won't be. But what it does is it's giving you another plane, another thing to look at, right? So when you come up here, then you could have, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at this. See, and then you can do like peekaboo behind a tree type stuff, you know? And that all works. And then those will be highlighted, but where'd the rest of it go? I don't know. It's behind a tree somewhere. Right? So you can come up here. Look at this. I'm gonna stay with the blues only because it's showing a better shadow for me and it's making it more defined. I don't know if you can see it yourself, but it's working for me, so I'm gonna keep it like that. And remember, these are just guides, okay? So we basically have this entire top of the painting done. Now, I don't know what time it is, but I'll go for like, I don't know, another 5 minutes, I suppose. And all I want to do now is just fill in here and there. And see, like I said, we're just looking to make it look like camouflage. Things like that. And anything that's back there is going to be covered, but anything that's shown back there that we do now, if it's not covered later on by something else, it's going to be like, wow, what's that? But it's going to make it look like you took forever to do it. Wow, it must have taken years. Not really. Okay, now see, this is all flat up here. I want to come up here. I want to define this a little bit and give this some needles and leaves. So see what I'm doing? I'm just coming down on that angle. I'm leaving my brush at that angle. So what's that, like 4 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and just coming down. And you want to give it that look like the branches are falling down. You don't want them like this. Okay, no tree is like that. So and just keep it nice and loose. See, like that. And I love working up like this because right now I'm going to have my eye level. Right, we have our eye level, and then we're going to have what's below our eye level. So we'll have a beautiful top, and by the time we get to the bottom, we'll have a beautiful bottom to match it. So I just want to throw in a couple more. You see what I'm doing? This just indicates more leaves and thicker forest and things like that. Okay. But I'm really excited and glad that you guys are doing this with me. And I'll do it as long as, I don't care if I get 2 people following me. It gives me something to do while Lorraine works remotely from home. And let's see, I'm just going to throw a couple in here. See, what this does, kind of gives it like a hilly look, like a wicked hill like we got up there. Now I'm just going to come up here, make a little bit heavier. And look at that, already, we got to look like there's a thick forest back there. And like I say, for what I'm going to be doing with it, I'll be doing like very detailed work, really detailed work on it. So, but we're just going to, I'll give you everything that we need to finish this painting anyways. Let's see. Hey, you know something now, if you want to put just a little bit of a cloud in there, we could. Okay, our sky is nice and dry. Sky is dry. Now watch, we're going to be doing stuff like this. We're going to bring that out. That brown is not just going to stay that brown. It's going to be a nice rich color. Okay, we're going to use some oranges, a little bit of red, a little bit of yellows with it. It's going to be all, the trees are going to explode. This is going to be a really bright summer painting. Okay. Oh, look at this. The water actually ran on it. The waterfall. Ah. Oh well. All right. Well, I guess maybe I should call it quits for today. And wish everybody a great weekend. Be safe. Help your neighbors. Make sure they got their colors. And the colors we'll be using is all of them. Okay. So if you can maybe pick up, like I say, if you're following me and you wanna follow along, it'd be best if you could get like a set of these brushes. And one set gives you like all of them. You get the biggest one to the smallest one. Get them at Michael's for like $7. And you can also get the smaller canvas boards that we've been using. Okay, like the other painting that we used was done on an 11 by 14 canvas stretch canvas board. Okay, so thank you everybody. I'll see you Monday right after the news. Thank you and goodbye. Bum, 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 bum.